Welcome back to our series on the various securities regulated by the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. The next type to be discussed are securitized instruments. Just a brief breakdown of the presentation. We shall be looking at securitized instruments, which can be categorized as either certificates of participation or asset-backed securities. A securitized instrument is a security which results from the process of securitization. As you can see on the slide, the diagram actually illustrates how securitization works. Securitization is the process of creating more or less a standard investment instrument, such as the mortgage pass or mortgage-backed security, which is made up of and secured by a collection of mortgages. So here's how it works. An authorized financial institution or an asset originator accumulates individual mortgages into a pool called a mortgage pool. This pool of assets is illiquid, which means the assets cannot be easily sold or exchanged for cash without a substantial loss in value. The assets, also known as underlying assets, are then transferred to an issuing vehicle, also known as a special purpose vehicle, or SPV. An SPV can be a subsidiary of the asset originator or a third-party financial company like an investment firm. The SPV will then issue these assets, now termed debt securities or asset-backed securities, to investors, typically in different tranches, which are usually reviewed and given a rating by a credit rating agency. When the SPV issue these debt securities, they are usually bought and sold on the capital market via a broker-dealer. The types of securitized instruments that are currently available within our local capital markets are certificates of participation, asset-backed securities, and mortgage-backed securities. A certificate of participation is a certificate issued by some forms of investment trusts, evidencing a proportionate, equitable interest of the holder in securities held by the issuing concern. It is the most commonly used securitized instrument within the local securities industry. Generally, the underlying assets are the cash flows from bonds that have been issued by the respective entities. An asset-backed security, or ABS, is another type of securitized instrument that is backed by a pool of loans or receivables. The pool of underlying assets can consist of assets such as consumer loans, commercial assets, credit cards, and home equity loans. A mortgage-backed security is a security that is backed by a pool of mortgages whose monthly payments are the sole source of cash flow for the security. The main difference between ABSs and MBSs is the underlying collateral being used for the security. An ABS is backed by assets such as loans, leases, credit card debt, a company receivables, royalties, etc. On the other hand, MBS is backed by a mortgage or collection of mortgages. Thank you for viewing. Please feel free to check out our website at www.investigatett.com for additional information regarding your rights and responsibilities as an investor. And stay tuned for the last in the series on securities regulated by the TTSEC. Our next video will be on collective investment schemes.